Hello, sports fans, and welcome to ListenABLE. The warm-up games, they're over. It's time for...
the Paralympics, baby!
That's right. What are you, a how-many-time champion?
4 gold, 2 silver. But, silver.
What, you got a silver in...
I got a gold in 2008 in wheelchair basketball.
Yep.
Silver in wheelchair basketball.
Yep.
2 gold in Rio, singles and doubles, tennis. Gold and a silver in Tokyo. I love the Paralympic Games so much. It means so much to me. When I was 17, I got to go with the rollers and we won gold, and it was life-changing. But Paralympic sport in general saved my life. It did. And honestly, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I owe it so much, and I just took a moment out there to look around because I'm so thankful and grateful that it came into my life and that I can perform on the big stage and do it with my friends and change perceptions along the way of what people think about us, people with disabilities, and not just as athletes. Hopefully this is changing perceptions beyond that. Not every person with a disability can be a Paralympian, but they can be a doctor, a lawyer, a mum, a dad, a teacher, an educator, a politician, whatever it is, but they don't often get the opportunities that we've got here to play sport. And that's what we're trying to do, and I wear that, it means that much to me. Like, it's huge, and to get it done today was bloody awesome.
Ooh, what was the silver doubles?
Yeah, Heath lost to the Dutchies.
We'll get on to Heath Davidson. He will feature on next week's episode. That's right. It's a 2-part Paralympic special. Chatting to some of the current athletes that are going to be competing in Paris, and chatting to some athletes who we've spoken to on ListenABLE about their experience at the Games.
And we clearly recorded this opener before because I'm their host in the Paralympics.
Very cool. So, you're right. We're doing this a couple of months before you leave.
Because I'm also hosting the Olympics, so I'm away for 9 weeks.
9 weeks in Paris seems like a dream.
It's pretty tough, man. Tough.
Don't need a assistant.
A carer.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Only if you bathe.
Does that mean I get paid?
You bathe me.
I'd love to. I do that for free.
Yeah, true.
I do it in milk.
We do that on Tuesdays.
What is your responsibility for the Games?
So I am, if you're listening in Australia, I'm actually one of the main hosts of the Olympics and Paralympics.
It's awesome.
So obviously pretty cool to be a person with disability hosting the Olympics. Never been to the Olympics, but that's just so I can get ready to then host the Paralympics. Ellie Cole and James Bracey are hosting the prime time with a bit of help from Kurt Fernley over there. And then myself and Sylvia Jeffries are doing like 10 till 3, but we're in Paris. Oh. So I'm the only host in Paris. The rest are back here. It's going to be unbelievable. And yeah, I can't wait to be on the other side of the fence, brother. You know what I mean?
Cool. And that opportunity with the Olympics as well is a really great time slot. Have you like to talk about that?
Yeah. When this comes out, it's already happened.
It's already happened. You had a great time slot.
So I'm doing 3 till 7 p.m. into the news on the Olympics every day, which is 7 till 11 a.m. in Paris. Then I got all day off to go watch the Dream Team.
It's literally the best. Here's some stats about last Olympics/Paralympics. Which was also a weird one because it was obviously during COVID times. It was pushed back a year.
Yeah, I've got a good stat that I'm going to add in there as well.
Great. 68% of all Australians watched some of the Tokyo Paralympics.
Yeah, great. And it was beneficial for my life, our lives, and the movement. I wish everyone wasn't in lockdown. It sucked. But it did have a very, very small win that people got around the Paralympics potentially for the first time because they were home, and we could feel the tangible energy of how many people were watching. It was like nothing. Well, I think at one point I had half the country watching me play tennis. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it was Ross.
Yeah.
82% said the Paralympics changed negative perceptions of people with a disability.
It goes beyond sport. We love hearing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this episode, we're going to be focusing on 4 of our athletes. 3 of them have now retired. 1 of them is going to be competing at the Paris Games. Like we said, it's hard to imagine that we're fast forwarding to August for this episode when we're recording it now in June. But Jarryd Clifford, what do you remember about our interview with Jarryd Clifford?
Oh, he's a great man. He's a fellow Nike ambassador, and I love what he does on the track and the road running as a person with low vision. However, I love what he says more. He's actually like a gun advocate, believes in the journey of what the Paralympics is about. But I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I don't think he ran his best in Tokyo. So I think it's a bit of redemption. So I really hope he can get out there and give it a good crack and just do the best that he can.
Here is the running superstar that is Jarryd Clifford. Starts his competition dates in just a few days on the 30th of August.
I'm a distance runner. That's my sport. I am competing in 1,500 metres, 5,000 metres and marathon. I'm visually impaired. I was diagnosed with juvenile macular degeneration when I was 3 years old. Deteriorated during primary school. So I'm what they say is legally blind, but that's basically just, a severe visual impairment. For visually impaired athletes, there's T11, 12 and 13. T11's for totally blind, and then 12 and 13 are for visually impaired. I'm a T12 athlete. I'm in the middle. I have the choice to run with guides, but then for distance running, because we don't have lanes, 12 and 13 is combined. So it actually will come up as T13. Yep. But it combines both of the classifications. So, yeah.
So you competed in able-bodied world championships for the under-20s, 2018.
Yeah.
So have you got a guide for that then, or are you running free for that?
Yeah, so that's the thing. So 1,500 metres, which is what I competed then, I've never used a guide. Because on the track, navigationally, I'm not too bad. Like, I can do it. It's more when I use a guide on the track, which I have done in the past for 5,000 metres, it's to give me like the information I can't see. So what position I'm coming, so how many laps to go. It's hard to count to 12 when you're cooked. Which athlete's in front. Like if it's the Kenyan out in front, like it's worth reacting to. If it's someone I'm not so nervous about, I might just let him run out in front a bit. So that stuff, it's more for information. But then, off the track, and then on some tracks at night, guides are not just there for that information, but they're for the navigational kind of aspect too.
And I'm going to play dumb because obviously I know, but how does a guide work? Talk us through the rules, how you guys are connected, like who it is, like what's the vibe there? Yeah,
so they've actually brought in new rules recently where the tether length, which is what I hold and the guide holds, has to be 30 centimeters, but most of that is taken up by the loops that we hold. So we're pretty much connected by our hands. We get a little bit longer for like a marathon. It's 50 centimeters, which is good, but we have to run in sync. My guides throughout my career, Tim Logan, who's my best mate, I've run with him for almost a decade now. He's one of them. Philo Saunders, my coach, he was a guide with me in Dubai. But we've actually recently had to make the decision that for the 5K, I'm going to have to try and wing it and run like it's solo just because my guides aren't
too slow. It's because they're too slow. Say it. Say the words.
No, I can't say
that.
You
say it. They're too slow.
They got pretty. Yeah, maybe.
That's ridiculous.
Because
I have seen that you've run with two guides before, but that's for marathons, right? So they have fresh legs. Is that...
And for 5K at World Champs, I did use two guides. And the 1,500 meters, we're only allowed to have one, and that's one of the reasons why I've never been able to go there because I'd need, your Stewie McSwain or your Ollie Hoare, Jai Edwards, the Olympic guys like that. That's kind of the pace I would need. But then that doesn't guarantee you're going to be good at guiding because a guide, one, you have to trust them with your life, and I'm literally crossing highways with Timmy. But two, this is the Paralympic Games is something I've worked towards for my entire life, and I'm trusting them to give me the right information so that I can make the right decisions to achieve a lifelong dream. And they have to communicate effectively under pressure, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a really important job.
Have you ever lost a race because your guide cracked and they got heavy legs?
Nah, there was one training one we did. It didn't matter too much where one of the guides didn't quite make it to the changeover point with the other one. I had to run 150 meters by myself.
Legend.
that was classic.
You're just putting your guides into pain. I love it. Yeah. Legend.
It was it was a pretty funny one. But so my guides in the marathon for Tokyo, I've Tim Logan, best mate, and Vincent Donahue, a training partner.
So I recently watched in the Olympics, we had our decathlon bronze medalist whose name I forget now, but he had
his other Australian teammate who made the finals, who realised he wasn't going to medal, basically chasing him down the straight, screaming supportive abuse at him.
Yeah.
Is there any of that going on? Along with the Kenyans, 4 lengths ahead, we're on our 7th lap. Is there a bit of, get bloody going, it's the Paralympics, come on, Jarryd?
Oh, I've had a few races where, particularly Timmy, he's gone to me. There's a runner in front of me that I probably should be beating, and he'll go, mate, like, you're not going to lose to this guy, are you?
Love
and
that.
like that's that gets you going, because he's like basically mocking you while you're in quite a bit of pain. But I remember world champs, 500 meters to go. Timmy said, this is what you've effing been working towards for ages, and that stuff just like pumps you up. Yeah, it's good. It's a couple of swear words, couple of actually productive sentences. It's pretty good.
Jarryd, what does it mean to you to be a Paralympian? Like, it's something that's probably one of the things I'm most proud of in my life. But what is it? You got to go to Rio. You're about to do it again. What does it make you feel when someone calls you a Paralympian?
Yeah, it's definitely probably, it's the one thing I like to introduce myself as, in terms of like a thing that I've done in my life. I know when I was a kid, meeting Paralympians, them being my heroes, like, and then to even be like to have the same thing, Paralympian, the label of it, the meaning of it, the symbolism of it, it's incredible. It means the world to me. And I find it interesting when people write an article about me if I've run a quicker time, particularly, or when I went to the World Junior Championships for able-bodied, and the article is like, will Jarryd Clifford ever make the Olympic Games? Or, and it's, I don't know. I don't like that, because for me, I've grown up with Paralympic heroes. I've grown up with Olympic heroes too, but I've always dreamt about the Paralympic Games. I've dreamt about winning a Paralympic gold medal. That's my dream. And to me, that's my thing. That's what I'm working towards. And it's just everything about my running career, has been directed towards that. And I'd like to think that people, when they see me run, this is the Paralympian, not the guy that might be good enough to run in the Olympics. Like, I'm good enough to run in the Paralympics and contend for hopefully a medal or a gold medal. Like, that's my thinking.
Jarryd Clifford, we wish you all the best. Of course, make sure you're following at ListenABLE_podcast. We're going to be celebrating our Australian athletes, and not just celebrating medals, celebrating great efforts, achievements, and moments on and off the field.
We're giving out good try ribbons.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well,
just kidding. We get it out, everyone.
Up next is Paul Harpur. Now, I remember when you saw the run sheet for speaking about this today, you're like, Paul Harpur, Paralympian? It's because he has so much going on in his life, and it happens so young in his journey. See, we were speaking to him about his guide dog, his life working with the government.
Yeah, it was pre-me Paralympics, I remember. Yeah.
But he spoke about his achievements at the Paralympics, and I think we spoke at the start about Jarryd Clifford not having, his event in Tokyo. The opposite can be said for Paul.
Well, goalball's a ball. It's got a ball with bells in it, and you roll it underarm. I say roll. You throw it underarm. Comes down to 80 k's an hour, 90 k's an hour, and you throw yourself out and you block it with your body. So it's like soccer goalkeepers at each end.
Hang on, your body. Hang on, your body, and your face, and your groin.
Well, you do wear a box.
Okay, you do.
But you can always hear when you hit a box, because no matter what the box, it helps. But that's like I say, it helps.
I watched Goalball at the Paralympics just gone. Probably one of the more fascinating sports that I've watched at Paralympics. Truly fascinating. But what I love is that everyone is required to wear goggles with that are blacked out. Is there in the history, for a man who's known the goalball sports for over 24 years, and been a participant, have you heard of somebody cheating the system? Was there back in 2000 some Scandinavian player who pretended to be blind, and hence the goggles then had to be part of the sport? Were they always part of the sport?
Yeah, no. Well, there was someone. I mean, I don't. I was a bit young, so I don't know exactly the country and the situation, so I won't get myself sued. But there was a country where a couple of players said they were blind, and they were only partially blind, so they were cheating. Yeah, there was someone cheating. So we wear the goggles and then eye patches underneath those goggles, because over the years, I mean, you're at the top. I mean, the same way you get occasionally a drug cheat, you get an ableist cheat.
I think also it also means that people on different spectrums of blindness can play because it makes everyone 100% blind. So if someone is low vision, they can still compete. And 2032 is going to be sick too, obviously in Brisbane. What that represents not just for sport, but education, employment, socially, whatever it is. The highlight of your career was the Melbourne Com Games where you broke the Aussie record in the 100-metre. Why did that mean so much to you and what time did you run?
Oh, God, I can't remember the time now, but...
Just say 9.5 seconds. Just say 9.
Yeah, I'll say 9.
You're saying about
I was... But the biggest thing for me was about, it would have been, I think it was 11.9, but I'd have to check on that. But what made it more special was by that point, I'd been an elite athlete. I'd swapped over to athletics and I'd been to a couple of Commonwealth Games and had been around the able-bodied athletes. Now, at first they were like, don't know how to, cope, how do you manage it? But by that point, I'd been to Manchester Commonwealth Games, been with these guys for years. And so the athletic team was a tight unit, and I was part of that unit, not like just as an extra, but I was just there as an athlete. And it was just a few key moments in that. Like when I walked, on the track was amazing because we're running down the back straight, waving to the crowd in the MCG, and the MCG is roaring, laughing back at us because we're, running around having fun after the race, that sort of thing. And the race itself, everything went perfect for me. It was just like that perfect moment, that you train for years and years, and then you pull it off and you don't make a mistake. And after it, you're just gone, oh my God, I just did it. And then after it, we got back into the village. Our Paralympics Commonwealth Games, we have villages where all the athletes live in a secure zone, and we walk back in and they have a live feed to the competition. And as we walk in, everyone in the room stood up and started and clapped us in. I'm like, oh my God, that was just, a really special moment.
In regards to that as well, one of the great quotes that I love about that run for you, and I don't know if someone's used this as a book, but this screams, runner, athlete, book title, but you said the time of your life. Because it's obviously, for the experience of being at Melbourne, but also you're literally running to your best time. So that was your PB of all time? All the race conditions came together for that one day and that one moment?
Yeah, it was the PB for a competition.
Right.
Personal best for non-athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. In training I've done better, but that's the fish that got away.
Yeah, of course.
Probably have to just clear the copyright with Green Day as well. Time of your life. I think you might struggle, to be honest.
A big thank you to Paul Harpur. Once again, reminder, full interviews with our amazing guests and their stories are in the show notes. Sarah Kate Rose you actually did this interview by yourself. I can't remember why, but I think I was away. Why?
Because you had a baby.
Was that the baby day?
Yeah.
Okay.
I turned up, I'm like, where's Gus? Like, I think he had a baby for 2 minutes. Next minute text, had a baby.
Yeah, had a
baby. I was
baby.
like, cool, yeah.
Yeah, so Sarah Kate Rose, a mum of two, really interesting story as the whole, and you can see in our show notes the full episode. Spoke a lot about her IVF journey into having children.
Can swim too.
Can swim, and this is what we spoke about when referencing her time as a Paralympian.
We went to 2 Paralympics together, correct? Was it Beijing and London?
Yep, sure is.
But what did you do? You did Athens as well.
Yeah, I did Athens as well.
And you're being very humble, but you definitely could swim. You were very bloody good. Do you miss it?
I really miss it. I get asked that question all the time. I really miss the feeling of feeling fit and just feeling like on top of my game, just healthy, fit, skinny. So I definitely miss that aspect of it, and I really miss the camaraderie.
Yeah, what are you talking about? You look fit.
Oh, thank
you. Just a different kind of fitness.
Yeah, just a different kind of fit.
Swimmers like just crazy elite fit. You know what I mean?
Next level, abs of steel. And miss the camaraderie of teammates, traveling the world, and all of that. Yeah, so I really do miss it, but I love seeing how far Paralympic sport has come and being able to watch that on TV. So still feel a part of it. So you have a disability yourself, correct? Well, if you don't mind, what disability do you have? I've got dwarfism. It's always funny on camera because you can't see when it zooms in. But, yeah, so I'm 130 centimetres, got dwarfism. Swimming and dwarfism. Did you play different sports growing up and then you kind of found swimming? And why was that the one that you gravitated towards? Yeah, that's kind of exactly what happened. So I'd always loved sport. I come from a family that really enjoyed sport and being active, and I actually had a pool in my primary school. And I noticed that I wasn't too bad against other able-bods, like when we were competing or training, just doing, those recreational lessons. I'd also loved a whole range of other sports, but I was really bad and I would finish so far last. And swimming was the one that I thought, hang on, like I think I could be good at this. And it was actually around the time that the Sydney Paralympics was on. So I took one of my friends and I go, let's have a look at this. I knew nothing about Paralympic sport or people with a disability. So we went to the Paralympics and I watched the swimming, watched the wheelchair basketball, watched a whole range of sports, athletics. And I saw people like me that I'd never, ever seen before, and saw them dominating in their field. And I thought, it was a moment when I thought I can actually be good at something. I can do this. I love sport, or I can give it a crack. And I felt really seen at that moment. And my mate's like, I've never seen you this stoked. I was just buzzing for weeks after the Sydney Paralympics. So then I went, I called around and looked up how I could join a disabled organisation when it was back. That's what it was like back then, and joined my local swimming club. And then, really fell in love with the sport.
Can we talk about, you went to Athens, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but probably wasn't the best Paralympics ever. No one really came, all that kind of stuff. I was 13, so I didn't go. But can you talk about what the experience was like when being a Paralympian, which is still hard, and I'm going to say that. Obviously, I'm very lucky that I've been able to cut the mainstream. We want more people with disability, so I'm not saying it's easy now. However, it has definitely improved. So can you talk about the journey from when you first started and what it was like going to those games to kind of where it is today?
Yeah, absolutely. So those games, you kind of had to fund things for yourself. You had to do everything for yourself. I mean, you didn't have the support that we see now, and like the stands weren't jam-packed. We didn't see the sponsorships that we see. We didn't see the broadcast. So you'd kind of see things like the ABC, who still do a phenomenal job, or SBS, or live streams, things like that. But it'd only be glimpses. It wouldn't be showing everyone, all the Aussies that are performing. So I think for me, it's my first games. I just thought that was it. And then obviously Beijing, the 4 years later, they lifted up again, and then London, and to what we see today. So I think to see athletes at the moment be able to be on Channel 9, Channel 7, in sponsorship deals, in employment, in a whole range of things, it has changed so much, and that would have really changed things for me had I been swimming. Had Athens been my first game. Some of these young kids now, this is all they know. So it's incredible, the advancement of sport and how far we've come. But yeah, it was a tough time. Like, you kind of had to fund things for yourself. You're training, working. I always worked when I was an athlete. And it always used to annoy my coach because I trained alongside Olympians and they didn't have to work. I'm like, mate, I'm not sponsored. I can't do both. But it's really fantastic to see how far that we've come. But yeah, man, times have changed.
Thank you very much to Sarah for sharing her story. Kelly Cartwright.
Kelza.
Yeah, a friend of yours, as you can tell by the way that you've abbreviated her name.
Recently married.
Congratulations. Bali wedding?
Looked like a Bali. I did move house recently. No invite.
Me either.
I mean, fair enough for you, but I genuinely am friends with her.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, you feel a bit gutted.
I'm shattered. No. Kelza is obviously super elite athlete, gold medalist, incredible person, great mum, but was also on the Paralympic coverage.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's doing the track and field events, so you might be seeing her very soon.
Kelly came in to speak with us about her experience as being a Paralympic, and I didn't know she gold medalist.
Yeah.
Wow.
In long jump.
Here's the story.
When you're wearing a prosthetic running leg, you actually only need one shoe for your real foot, and you cut the sole of the other shoe and glue it to the bottom of a running spike because you need the what do you call it? The thread to be able to.
So you stick the sole of it on the.
You glue
the
it
blade.
on, yeah, and then put your spikes in.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but even if you didn't have that, it makes it quite difficult to run on asphalt, unless you've got a special jogging leg or a leg specific. And I had a sprinting leg.
What's the cost of a running leg?
Look, they're a lot cheaper than my walking leg. They're around $10,000 to $20,000 for a running leg. Yeah.
You've got the big kahuna of walking legs, don't you?
Yeah, I finally got it. I've been waiting 2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
How much is that bad boy?
It's about 90,000.
But that's custom to you.
Kurt would have
Yeah,
the
Kurt's
better
got a 200 and something
He's
thousand.
got the waterproof one.
Yeah. Well, he's in a kayak.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got an amazing leg, and I'm very lucky that I've been waiting 2 years for this leg. So
I had some funny leg stories with Kel. She often wasn't the most organised person and forgets to charge them, and then they go straight.
I thought you were going to talk about the one where they drank out of my leg.
I got three. I got the one of the drinking at the party. Everyone was drinking out of her leg. And in London, Kel was riding a bike and I was hanging on the back and we were checking out the village. And as she was riding, her leg fell off. So I'm in a wheelchair, hanging onto her bike. Her leg falls off the bike, and I'm like, out of my chair. Comedy of errors.
Well, you mean you should send a photo to Daniel Ricciardo, who's famous for a shoey. You should show him your leggy.
Well, I think it's kind of gross. I didn't drink out of it.
It stinks.
No, it doesn't. I clean it.
Okay.
The legs stink.
They don't, if you clean them.
Okay. Proper hygiene.
Debatable.
I don't know about your shoes, Dylan, but my leg doesn't stink like that.
Why running? You lost your leg. Why did you decide to go into a sport where you're at a complete disadvantage? I mean, why was it not an upper body sport? Why not discus?
Well, I'm not built for discus. That's
very
honest. Look, I just loved running. I've always loved cross country, and I didn't love sprinting so much. But again, being an above knee amputee, it is very difficult to run. So you don't really want to run as long as cross country. Yeah, no. And then I just loved it. I started going down to the track and meeting people and competing, and I'm always been a competitive person and qualified for my first games, which was Beijing. But when I first got my running leg, Geelong raised funds for me to get that.
Landy Field?
Yeah.
Hey, the old sprinting track.
I ran for Chilwell.
Do you guys want me to leave? Just so you have to leave?
You just don't understand the reference to the G-Town, mate.
Okay. I don't think many people listening to it.
and then, but my aim was the London Games. So I thought I'd have about 5 years to really train and scrape through, met Dylan and went to Beijing.
So did well in Beijing, didn't win a medal.
Yes.
The 2010 World Championships, how did they go? That was in the lead up.
Yeah, I did quite well there. I got 2 gold medals, but I had a really bad lead up to those games. I actually had to have my leg re-amputated, which means go in, get about a centimetre cut off the bottom. Because being an above knee amputee and running, you put 3 times your body weight through my stump, my bone, and I damaged it so much that I just needed a clean slate. But as you know, Dylan, you got to do certain qualifiers, certain events to get to the big event. So I had to, I think it was 6 months, not even before the World Championships.
Isn't that funny? I recently attempted a marathon, which is 42 kilometres. I got to 28 kilometres.
Why would you even do that?
Background. He realised that wanted to get a bit fitter post-isolation.
Yeah.
And he said, it's on Friday he thought of it. On Saturday, Kelly, on radio, he goes, guess what I'm doing tomorrow, Dill? I'm running a marathon.
No training. I could only run 4Ks.
And I was like, don't do it.
What I was going to say was, I have been complaining to my girlfriend. I've done a couple of posts about my blisters on my foot.
Oh, God.
And that's what I'm saying. And here you are having to re-amputate some of your leg because of the wear and tear of sport.
And because you want to get back to sport, which is probably stupid in hindsight. But yeah, to be honest, if I look back on those games, they weren't my best jumps that I've ever done or fastest race, but up till that time I was the fittest and strongest I'd ever been in those 5 months, and I had been in the 2.5 years.
Amazing.
Because you kind of look at a timeline and think, I don't have a lot of time. You put 110% effort into that, and it just led me up to the London Games really good.
So you got to London, you the favourite. Your dream as a young person was to be a sportswoman. What was that feeling like when you finally got that gold medal in the long jump?
A dream come true. It sounds cliche, but it's worth the ups and the downs. And to see your family and your coach in the sideline that had put more effort into you being there than probably yourself, it meant the world to me. It meant that it was worth it, the sacrifices, the times that you don't get to go and do all the things with your friends that they're doing, but it was just, I put so much effort into winning that gold medal and to stand on that podium and hear the national anthem, because I remember the 4 years before hearing some of them in the Beijing Games.
Thank you.
Some of them. And just knowing that's what I wanted and to know that I was there.
A big thank you to Jarryd Clifford, Sarah Kate Rose, Paul Harpur, and you just heard from Kelly Cartwright. Now, Dill, usually we'd be like, see you in a fortnight, but guess what?
Double week, baby.
Back next week, next Monday, as the Paralympics is officially underway, we're going to be celebrating with athletes who are at the Games. They're in Paris. We're talking about Kurt McGrath, Emma Booth, Heath Davison, and Madison de Rosario.
I'll also, I haven't told Angus this, I'll send you a cheeky little voice memo about what's going on.
Oh my gosh, we're going to have live updates from Paris, everybody. We'll see you next week. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the episode.